Hello, everybody. My name is Mensur Pudic, and I am the founder of Simply Motivated. And today I got a special guest with me, Stephon Suggs. Stephon, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Master. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, you know what? I know when I was in Florida, I connected with you as we talked about, and sometimes you just need one little spark, one person, say the right thing, do the right thing, and you're off. And I wanted it to connect with you. And, the poem that you've written, you're a remarkable person, and, a lot of respect for you and what you do, because you're impacting millions of lives around the world.
I, I appreciate that, man. That's the goal. I wake up every single day, and my ultimate goal is to leave an impact on somebody's life, whether it be major, small, just leave an impact.
Any impact, especially when it's good, it leaves a part of us to remember that person. And, and that's all we can do, right? Be good there, be good to people, help people when we can, and put people in the right direction. And, you can never go wrong doing that.
I agree.
I wanted to talk to you today. I know we've been on a journey, and, it's very hard because we have so many distractions, kids, job, this and that. And a lot of things happen in one day that people don't really track. It's taking our time, our energy, our money, our focus, our health. It's taking a little bit of everything with it. What would you say is an important reason to stay focused, or what keeps you focused when you're working towards your goals?
That's a great question. It's important to stay focused because, for me, I kind of view life as a movie, a book, whatever you may want to call it. And you start to see that if you don't do the things you don't want to do, life will force itself upon you. And it's going to be something you don't want either way. So, it kind of gets to a point where you realize, let me fight for the things I actually want instead of getting things that I don't want. And the thing that motivates me personally is, I say this all the time, I feel like I'm fighting up against, generations upon generations of, just curses or just plagues that I feel like run in my family. And I want to kind of be the change. I want to shift things. I kind of want to be a Renaissance man, so to speak, and an innovator, and change some of the norms associated with my last name, especially on my side,
And I can relate to that. When we came here from Bosnia in 1994, my family structure was always, we were used to working construction, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So much respect for people that doing that, but that wasn't my passion, wasn't my goal, wasn't my dream, and I got caught up in the system, so to say, that, going to school, doing what my parents didn't do, go to school just because they didn't have the opportunity. But I came to a point where a lot of people from where I'm from are getting stuck. They're going to school, doing what the system does, and then they get out of school and don't want to do that job, and having that focus is very important, because that's where our energy is, right? When you have your purpose, your goal, your mission, you're going to strive and you're going to wake up happy because you're going to know what you want to tackle, and it's from the inside out,
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And I know you had some, we all have these barriers that are coming. What are you learning about yourself throughout this process? Are you learning from your past, or are you trying to develop a new future in your mind and then trying to have a plan that's going to get you to your goal? Or is it a combination of both?
That's perfect. I was going to say, I think it's a combination of both. I think, I do spend time assessing previous things I've done. And like I said, the older I get more curious about my family in general. Growing up, it's a lot of things I feel like I didn't talk to my parents about. Just a lot of things I did not really know who I was as a person. So I was kind of searching for it, so to speak. So, I reflect on some of the things from the past that put me in the position where I'm at. But in today's time, I would say I'm more focused on where I got to go. You don't want to spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror, so to speak. You want to put more attention into the road ahead and focus where you got to go. So, I try to meditate. I try to do yoga. I try to find ways I realize with myself, it's all about your mind. And if I'm not in a good place, that can fester, that can lead on, that leads to procrastination, that leads to, other ailments and things that hold us back. Like you said, some of your people that get stuck. But when you find ways or find the things that you like to do that can help shift your mind. I could be in a bad mood. There's a few songs I got, I'll play them, and it's like, all right, or I'll go for a walk. Or not, one thing I've discovered lately is I actually like playing basketball. I don't know why I didn't realize that when I was younger, but I like going to go shooting hoops. And sometimes when I need to blow off some steam, I go to the basketball court, and I'm actually getting better too. So it's just finding little ways that yourself and finding ways to put yourself in the best mindset possible so you can even focus on chasing your dreams in the first place. Because if you don't feel it on your body and your spirit and all things on the line, you're not going to get that traction that you're supposed to get.
You touched on a lot of different bases here, and it's one of those things that, here's an example. People in the medical field, wonderful people. But sometimes they're treating the symptom instead of what is actually causing that symptom, right? And nobody knows your body like you know your body. Of course, you have scientists, you have doctors that can streamline their process, their experience, and say, hey, this is the common denominator in this. But, when you say, I started playing basketball and I feel so much better about myself. And when I bring up ideas or some things to my clients, they're going to tell me, hey, I feel stuck. And it's one of the reasons why I developed the program that I developed was to get them unstuck. They'd say we're stuck. And I'm like, are you stuck mentally or physically? 99.9%. They're like, we're stuck mentally. And then it's causing us to be stuck physically. And it's that one thought, that one idea. And I'd say, hey, why don't you try going to the gym? Well, I don't like going to the gym. I used to go before. But your mind and your body isn't the same as it was last month, last year, last week, yesterday. Because if you're growing and you're learning different things, you're acquiring tools, you're acquiring resources. Maybe you're building friendships that give you a different vibe. And that changes from day to day. It can change by reading a book.
Agreed. I think it's also very important. What I'm learning a lot lately is the importance of having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And it's really so key to be able to look at where you are and don't get discouraged based on where you think you should be, and understand that you can grow from there. I think it's freeing when you truly do believe and understand to yourself that you can start at any point and nothing can stop you from getting here but you. You got to believe that one step at a time. You might can't make big jumps. You might even fall down sometimes. And like I said, that's what the last year or two has taught me. It's really humbled me. I'm an Aries and I'm a big personality. And I realize I can sometimes have overzealous dreams. And not necessarily saying that they're overzealous, but I don't have the plan attached to how I'm going to get it done. So it is a fairy tale to me. I'm at the point now where I realize if you're not making goals, if you don't have a plan, if you're not strategic, then what's the difference between anyone saying anything? So it gets to the point you got to get laser focused. You got to really realize, what is it that I want to do and how am I going to get there? And maybe I don't know now, but like you said, I might meet someone. I might put myself in this environment. I got to be willing to do some of the things that in the past I used to say I wouldn't do, but I can't be that way no more. I got to grow and not be fixed,
And see, our mind is remarkable, right? If we can imagine it, we can hold it in our hands. And as our coach, John Tallarico, used to say before, you're dying either way. You might as well be dying towards your goal and the things that you want to achieve. And, when I started the journey, it was like, oh, how much was this going to cost me? But that thought alone was, hey, because my parents live with me and, it's like, am I going to be able to afford this? What all goes into it? But you're thinking too far out. It's like I was trying to get the clear picture, the puzzle already scripted, made. And it's like, that's not how this goes. It's like you build upon one thing after another, and you're going to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you need to buy, what you don't need to buy. And, you're going to figure out and create the process that works for you, right? And it's one of those things that you have to go through it to develop that, and have you found yourself when you started doing different things, when you started doing the yoga, when you started playing basketball, I know it relieved and helped your body recoup because you're taking care of that stress and you're not bringing it in the next day. How did that help you kind of refocus and realign when you'd have bad days, and you see the opportunity of what you've done before, and it's like, hey, I can actually do this. I've done it before.
Yeah, no, it's great. One thing for me, and I'm open about it, I used to care too much about the outside opinion. I would care about whatever before I would think I'm gonna do this, and then that other voice would creep in and be like, well, what would people say about it? What would people think about it? And that would kind of stop me in my tracks. Kind of when I said, learning from the past, I realized that, in my moments of courage and in the moments when I do push through, it's usually not as bad as however I thought it was going to be. And the thing that I'm learning now is it's not for me to anticipate or determine or really even care whatever it's going to do. If I have a purpose and I have a mission, I got to do it. And also my word has to be my word. I felt like a lot in the past, and I recently learned this, sometimes when you make an agreement, the emotions and the feelings you feel the day you make the agreement and when it's time to fulfill the agreement can be different, but you got to have the discipline to keep your word. And, people remember that, and that travels, and that can hurt or help your career based on, being a person of your word and being a virtuous person of value. So I feel like every day is a learning experience, but I'm at a point now that I'm figuring me out and I'm figuring my process out. And I don't compare my process to the next man, or I don't look at and say, well, I'm not doing this as fast as they are, or I didn't figure this out as fast as they did. Now it's more so like, man, Stephon, you figured it out when you did. And I'm happy with that. And I love you, man. I tell myself that more now. I never used to tell myself I love myself. Like, I look in the mirror every day, tell myself I love myself. I find a new reason. I say I like you because, and I find a new reason to tell myself why I like myself. And just little ways to kind of change the narrative and realize the only voice that really matters is mine. And the positive side, all that other stuff, it don't matter.
That's very important that you say that. I was watching a YouTube video a couple days ago, and the person in the video said, there's plenty of people out there that want to beat you up. Stop beating yourself up. And that's what people do. Sure. We start thinking of doubts, of fear, and anxiety and stress, and everything comes on a lot faster, and it kind of creates quicksand and it buries us in our tracks. And I think that's why it's important, right? To remind ourselves why we signed up for what we did. What is our goal? What is our mission? Practice our affirmations. And, you've probably gone through this, not just the self-development of yourself, but understanding how important it is to keep some people close to you because they're going to help you, and also keeping the negative people away from you. I know that's very, very important. And, people that don't understand how the mind works and how we're built have a really hard time understanding how much of an impact this has. And it can only take one negative thought, one bad idea to discourage you and have you quit. And we see this all the time. You see the biggest movie stars they crumble. They crumble under pressure of what people might think, what somebody might say, if they don't hit a certain quota that they used to hit before. So everybody goes through this. It doesn't matter where your status is at, but talk to us a little bit of the self-development that you've gone through, how you were able to kind of say, hey, I look for this in my friends and not what I used to, because I know throughout this process that, you've developed tremendously. And I know just because we've had our conversations and, I know you're flourishing and, gosh, there's just a bright future for you. And I see that. And I know when I talked to you in Florida, like I said, I remember as if you were there and it was just over a phone call, right? And it's like, wow, this guy has so much potential. And when I saw the poems and everything that you were doing, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask. Most people don't get what they want because they simply don't ask.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I appreciate that, man. You hit it exactly. I used to hang around a bunch of, like I said, I'm at a good place in life. I used to have almost like anger because of it, but I'm at peace now. This is really a journey. Life is really a journey. I tell you that. I used to hang around a bunch of people that, and they were themselves. I realize now looking back on it, like they had their own deficiencies and their own insecurity, and everybody got their own. But I don't really feel like they were helping me grow necessarily. And I'm just gonna leave that at that. And the thing is, I feel like that also plays a role on your confidence. You know, if you want to be able to be around people who inspire you and like you. And I would say, you know, just in the last few months, you know, I've been able to meet people who truly care about me, and they even see how I react. I'm a bit guarded and defensive, and almost like surprised that someone can truly be genuine, because, you know, I wasn't used to that, used to a lot of toxicity. And, you know, the type of people I look for now are people who are just goal oriented, not perfect people, because I don't believe there are any perfect people, but people who want more, who talk about things more than just vanity items. I'm not really big on, you know, your drip and stuff. That really doesn't matter at this stage of my life. I don't really care as much about stuff like that. I like people who, you know, especially now I'm a father and, you know, have children. I like family oriented people. I like people who, you know, because they can teach me a thing or two. I like being around men that I respect them in their fatherhood. When I watch them with their children, when I see how they direct their children, when I see them with their wife, when I see, you know, I like to look for people that I consider more so role models than even just a friend at this particular time, because I don't just want a friend. I don't just need like a buddy to kick it with. I need people that you know, are on my level, and I consider them an alliance, and we all have a common purpose and a common goal, and it's more than just a friendship. You know, I'm looking for more so like any person that I let in on that level. I want to be able to consider you family, or other than that, I'll keep you in whatever particular role you're in. But I don't need a bunch of people around me just for the sake of having people around me. I finally discovered that peace in self.
You know, and that's very important. Having that key, you know, that you know your own worth, right? You're always going to have people, you're always going to have opinions. But knowing your own worth, they can't take that. That's something that they can't take. You know, I used to have people tell me, you can't say that, you can't do this. It's like, I can do whatever I want, because our perception is different. And, you know, I allow other people to have their perception. That's their life. Whatever they decide to do, it's on their slate. At the same token, I uphold my own, right? And that's a lot of people, you know, sometimes they don't want to say something because, you know, they might be an odd person out, or it doesn't go what their culture's going by, or what their religious background's by. And, you know, I always said, you know, I believe in God, and I don't hide that from anybody. Who wants to believe in it, they can. Who doesn't, they don't have to. It's totally up to them. It's on their slate. But you touched on a base on role models, and I know you worked with some of the elite in the industry, such as Les Brown and Eric Thomas. Tell us a little bit about that experience, and what has that experience done for you?
Great. I think it's a great experience for one. They have two kind of different styles for me, but the same common goal or same common purpose. You know, just helping people change and helping people grow. Eric Thomas is a little bit more in your face with it. You know, he's a little bit more, I'm gonna call you out. And Les Brown, I consider him like a artist of motivational speaking. He's able to use the different array of emotions. He can be firm, he can be joking, he can just say something where he's not either way, but it's just gonna make you think, and however you perceive whatever he said. So, you know, I feel like I learned a lot of different tactics from both men. Also, I feel like from dealing with them, I looked deeper into their stories and their backgrounds, and both of them are men that I truly respect. One thing for me is I feel like I always said I feel like I'm battling upstream, just you know, coming from where I come from and just the different things that I've been through. I understand it's an uphill battle, and I understand I wasn't given, you know, some golden fork or spoon or anything like that. I understand that it's going to have to really be one of those rags to riches stories. And I do believe that both of those men embody the type of stories and the type of men that I want to be. Especially Eric Thomas, just every time I hear a story about, you know, being homeless and taking 12 years to graduate and all of this, and just to see where he is now, it's one of those things for me. It's like, even if I have a bad day, a bad month, a bad year, I'm only 30 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still in the race. I'm still in the game. And, you know, my ultimate goal, and I believe, like you said, we speak it into existence, is to share the stage with both men. I virtually shared the stage with Les Brown, but I'm greedy. I want to do it in person. I want to be around him. I want to see his ethic in person, and I want to kind of emulate those type of people in my day to day.
Having coaches and mentors, that's crucial, especially for development. Les Brown, he started, I believe he was in his 30s, because there was a long period of time where he didn't believe he could do this, right? And he is one of the biggest motivational speakers on the planet today. And it's one of those things, when you change your mindset and when you equip yourself with the right people, and coaches can take you places where you can't go by yourself, because they bring on different experience that you might not be used to, right? And that's very important. And I always tell clients, coaches are important for several different reasons. They can give you skills that you might be missing. They can close your gap far as time, and a lot of people are waiting. Oh, if I go to school, I'll be able to do it when I finish. You're hoping that works. And if it doesn't, you have nothing to fall back on. And, I always thought to myself, you want to have the most amount of ammunition on your side, especially when you're going towards your goal, because it's going to take everything out of you. You got to be disciplined. You got to always be ready. And, as my friend Iffy says, we stay ready, we don't get ready. And that's the type of mindset you have to have. It doesn't have anything to do with, I'm better than this person. No, you have a target, and your job, your duty every single day is to look at that target and try to get a few steps closer to it, right? And even when we do get to it, we're going to start acquiring different things of what we want to create out of our goal, out of our dream, out of our life, because you only get one chance, and it's not just the time that's running out, it's our life that's running out, and so many people that I talk to, it's excuse after excuse after excuse, and it takes the same amount of ability and effort to think positive to go to the next level.
Man, yeah, no, that's real, man. I could listen to you talk all day, man. You charge somebody up to be ready to run through a wall, man, that they thought they couldn't run through. Now you definitely got that winning mentality, and like you said, 100%. You got to believe it first, man. You got to believe it, and then you got to stay focused. You got to stay disciplined. Tunnel vision. You got to get tunnel vision, man, and also learning. Sacrifice. There will be some sacrifices, and you have to be willing to make some sacrifices. You cannot continue to do everything the way you've been doing it and expect to get different results. And I say that with emphasis because life is really, 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 really teaching me that lesson right now. Sacrifice. You're gonna have to let some stuff go. Some people gonna have to go. Some things, some habits, some of your routines. You're gonna have to be born again, like I like to say. You're gonna have to move different. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be a little awkward at first. It's almost like a newborn baby. You start off crawling. The baby wants to walk. You'll see it stand up a little bit. You'll see it fall back down sometimes. That's like us. We'll stand up. We'll try to fall back down. This is awkward. You're learning a new skill that you didn't already know. But eventually, that kid, because he's programmed to, and it's in him, he's going to stand up. And once he start walking, you can't stop him. So I kind of look at it like that process. A lot of us, we may be still babes at it. We may still be little infants, little toddlers, but we can walk one day. We just got to practice and continue crawling, get our crawl right, then continue to build your strength, and then start lifting yourself up. You can always get up.
And when you talked about what is it going to take, I tell my clients, I'm like, tell me what your schedule is like. And, they write out their schedule, and I tell them a little bit of everything's got to go. And like, what do you mean by this? And I tell them, you're going to find out. They're programmed a certain way that, we're built on habit, right? We like habit. We like to stay in our safe little bubble. But the thing is you don't learn, you don't grow, you don't advance, you don't utilize the skills that you have because you might be afraid of what people will say. What if this fails? And if you think like that, you're not moving forward. It's not forward thinking motion. And I also watched another TEDx show that it's just about perspective. Somebody kept asking why. Why do I have to do this? And the gal said, don't ask why. Ask what do you have to do next? It changed the trajectory of your mind of where you're going to go next with that thought or idea, so you're not stuck in the same way. And I got a message here that came through from a great friend, Mersad, who's actually out of Florida. Amazing human being, by the way. Those of you that haven't met him, tremendous human being. And he actually wrote, you know, what do we do when we lose passion for something we used to love to do? Go back to doing it, you know. And one of the things is culturally, and just looking back when I read the message, a lot of it is I stopped this because I told myself a story of why I shouldn't do it, or somebody else told me why I shouldn't do it. You need to go back and rewrite that story and find out what your passion is. And, you know, with some of my clients, when I work with them, I tell them, go in the room, shut everything off. No cell phone, no TV, no nothing. All you need is a pencil, pen, and a piece of paper, and start writing, what do you want to create out of your life? When you start doing that and you're aware of how this works, the way our mind is designed, it will look and start thinking different than we have before. You know, we don't have to have it figured out all the way. That's going to come. That's called the process. But when you have that target written out, what you want, your mind will start looking what you need to do to get there. You know, and we have that in some of the people in the industry, such as Tony Robbins, Les Brown, you know, John Tallarico, all the biggest stars in the industry know this works because successful people have done it and said, hey, this is the blueprint. If you follow this, this is what your end result's going to be, long as you stick with it and you create it yourself.
Correct. No, I agree. And I think, you know, like I said, I speak a lot for myself because I try to be very genuine and honest as far as like how I feel. And I feel like that's what sets me apart from, you know, just being anyone else. Only could be me. And I think it's that confidence part, especially, you know, from a lot of people, just coming from my coaches specifically. You know, we don't always get cultivated to believe that we can. You know, the school system, your peers, everything before you even can get grown is tearing you down, stripping you down the whole way. You know, I know little kids now. If you say you want to be a scientist or something, instead of being around people in the environment, it's going to say, hey, you know, you should do that. You should do that. They're going to more so try to clown you or make it tough for you. Now, I would agree also, you got to be strong and you got to be mentally tough. But it might take for him to be grown to realize that, you know, to get the mental fortitude to realize I don't have to listen to them. You know, a lot of young people, that's why they call it peer pressure. You know, I think back to myself as a young child, and like you say, a lot of the things that I do now that I'm passionate about, I could have been there. I've always loved these things, but why didn't I do it? And I think back on it. I'll think back to the 1 or 2 times that I tried to, you know, show my real true self around my environment and how it was rejected and how you start to pick up on that. And like I said, you eventually get to a point in life where you realize I don't have to change. I have to change my environment. But until that moment in time, you're fighting with that, you know, that self-identity. Who really am I? You know, if all my peers are saying I'm not this person, but I say I am I delusional? And, you know, it takes time to build up that point where you say, no, I was made unique by my maker. I'm a spiritual person as well. And I was born for this particular purpose. For me, anytime I drift, anytime I get off the path, I'm always pulled right back to where I belong. Always. I can't escape it. It's to the point where I accept it now and I realize I was born to make a difference. Whether I want to or not, my life will be a difference maker for other people's lives. So I might as well accept it and do what I'm supposed to do now because I was burdened with this task whether I want it or not. And I enjoy it, actually. I love it. You know what I mean? I understand that there are a lot of things I have to overcome to give someone else the courage to say, wow, I can do that. If he did that, he came from where? He was in foster care. He turns just every single thing that happened. And they say, wow, you know, I can do that too, you know, and just continue to go against the grain. So that's why I'm very passionate about it, man. And, you know, you got to never give up. Like you said, if you start to lose the passion, go back to it again. Maybe you got to try it from a different angle. Maybe you got to switch something up. Maybe it was something that you're missing. Maybe you need to look at it from a different point of view. Maybe you got to have a few friends around that are actually real friends and go over it with them. If it's a business plan, whatever it is. Hey, can you check this out? I know you're kind of good with this. Give me your opinions. But people that you know will actually give you constructive criticism. You know, like I said, we'll keep going to the same sources that put us down. We'll keep asking those very same people their opinion on things as if their opinions are going to change. No, we need to change up who we getting opinions from. and who we getting the knowledge and information from.
You know, that's very powerful. And I know you were getting excited as you were talking, and, you know, we pass energy, you know, and when somebody's passion hits, you can feel the energy. And one of the things that I go back to, an individual asked Tony Robbins, or actually stated, I've tried 1 million different things and none of them worked. And he simply smiled at the guy and said, try 2 million. You know, the point is when you have a goal, when you have a mission, when you want to achieve something in your life, a number of how many times you tried shouldn't be a factor. You have to reach your destination, and you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. You know, and some people say you got to be willing to die for your goal. And some people are like, you know, well, you can't really think of it that way. No, you have to have that mindset, because something's going to come on and life will slap you. Life will slap you upside down when you least expect it. And, you know, we're always trying to anticipate things, and there are things that we can't anticipate. But it's important that we stay the course, because it's self-development of ourselves, being committed to ourselves, being loyal to ourselves, being honest with ourselves. And a lot of people simply aren't. You know, you'll hear people say, you know, somebody doesn't like you. Most people don't like themselves. If you read psychology books and they teach you how the mind works and how negative people are, most people truly don't like themselves.
It's true.
And most people are stuck in their own mind. And, you know, I was one of those people that, you know, I was stuck. I'm not going to say that I really didn't like myself, because I was always advancing, because I knew deep down inside me there was a purpose, there was a goal, there was a vision, and there always was. And I was never afraid of work. You know,
but I could be honest, man. I could talk about it, because, like I said, even little things like this might help somebody. There was plenty of moments in time in my life where I didn't like myself, man. If I'm being honest, it was tons of moments. There were moments where I might have been perceived to be a social okay person by the public, where deep down inside, man, I was battling with deep depression. I didn't like myself. I, you know, contemplated suicide once or twice. All these different things. I had some very dark moments. But I say all of that to say that you can come from anything, man. You know, you can overcome that. There were days where I didn't think that I could. It was like a dark cloud over my head. And every single day I would wake up, it just felt like a dark cloud. Kind of like you said, instead of trying 1 million things, I tried 2 million things. I was determined to get up out that funk. I've tried so many different times. I've failed so many times in life, Mister. And I got back up so many times. And I know it's not over, you know? But you got to be persistent.
I don't think you failed. I think you learned and you became more equipped. You know, sometimes it's those bad situations, bad thoughts. You know, you mentioned depression. It's some of those things, when we get out of it, we evolved. It's like, hey, you know, this came at me before and it affected me. This time it's just going to bounce right back, right? We learn not to internalize certain things, you know, and we learn how to redirect our thoughts, you know. And one thing that I love that you do is, you know, these poems and lyrics that you have, it's like, this kid has a gift. He can't keep that gift to himself. He has to give that gift, because other people are going to see him. He's going to inspire other people. He's going to motivate other people. He's going to get people to change their life and go chase what it is that they want, because somebody else might be in that same struggle where you were at, you know, last week, last year, whatever it might be. And all they need is some traction, you know? So when I seen you do that, that's remarkable. And that's what people need to do, because we're not all the same, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's those experiences, that being able to communicate, the collaboration between one another, where we can develop some of the best, you know, technologies in the world. You know, we can create things when we come together, you know, that are outside of this world that we never thought were possible. One point or another, you know, internet was never possible. Flying to the moon was never possible. This technology was never possible. But somebody had that thought, that idea in their mind, and they hit the ground running, and look where we're at. Everything's at our fingertips these days.
Endless possibilities. It's endless possibilities. I agree.
I want to thank you so much for being on. I want to thank the viewers that are staying tuned in. And, you know, what is one takeaway that you'd go ahead and give to the viewers while you're here before we close the program?
You know, I would just say, if you got a dream, chase it, no matter what. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a dogfight. Honestly, I feel like the moment I started chasing dreams and believing that I could achieve something is when life really started to attack me. But there's a resolve you build in that process that's unlike any other. I feel more humble, more grounded, more focused than I ever did in my life. And I'm just ready to just do the work. No talking, just do the work. The results will show for itself. But you got to really, really want it. And if you do, it's going to show. And you're going to get it. Can't nobody stop you. That's all I got to say.
There you go. You guys heard it from the best. He said the results will show, and that's right. Whatever you decide to do in your life, results will show. Good, bad, or indifferent, the results always show where you're at. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. And, we're going to stay connected. And, I'm looking forward to seeing you flourish and achieve all the wonderful things that you have on your list as far as your goals. And I hear that you have a kiddo on the way. So congratulations to that. Just honored and privileged to have met such a humble human being. And thank you so much that you've done for me and, for everybody else that you connect with. Those are the types of people that we need. So I just appreciate you kindly and just wanted everybody to know that.
I appreciate you as well. Like I said, you're a good dude. Keep doing everything you're doing. And I'm always be a fan, a supporter, and a friend.
Thank you so much, my friend. Everybody that's tuning in, thank you guys so much. And, I'm going to connect with you guys tomorrow morning again. And I'm going to have another special guest on my podcast. Thank you so much, my friend. We'll connect real soon.
Peace out.
Bye, everybody.